Yes, of course, it is full of amazing testimonies. So many people who have died for Christ, and those who continue alive and are persecuted for Christ's sake. In the attack as Christina, I was impressed by the reaction of some of the Christians. They got up knowing they were going to be killed. They had them all piled up together in the center of the church with explosive belts on. And some men, moved by a holy zeal, stood up, calling their assassins to conversion. And they stood up knowing that they were going to die. One can read the testimonies in the book of the Maccabees of the 7 brothers that were killed and their mother as well, how they rebuked the king. And one reads these testimonies and it seems to be the same as what is happening now. People who knew that they were going to die, and yet all the same they called their killers to conversion. And they died saying, "Long live the cross of Christ." The cross for them is something real. They were living it and they gave their blood for Christ. These are very impressive testimonies. The other things that call your attention are the testimonies of forgiveness. Faith that leads to absolute and complete forgiveness. Parents whose young daughter had been kidnapped in an Islamic state pray for the conversion of that Islamic state. It's very impressive. People who have lost everything and yet say, "I am grateful to this Islamic state because before, like a fool, I used to worry about silly things. But once I lost everything, I grew closer to Jesus Christ." The mother of 2 of the Coptics who were beheaded in Libya has an incredible testimony. It was most difficult for the mother as she saw a video of how they beheaded both of them. They then hanged their heads in public for everyone to see. When they asked her if she were to meet the murderers of her sons at the door of her house, what would she say to them? She said, "I would invite them in for coffee because they were responsible for my son's entrance into heaven." These testimonies are much more incredible even than martyrdom. There is so much of this. There are also people who say, "Father, help us," but in reality they end up forgiving everyone. And with such liberty that shows that they are heroes. Because if one looks at this on a human level, he who kills and threatens and expels, they seem to be the ones that are running things, but in fact it is the other way around. They're just slaves of Satan and of their passions. Those who are truly free are the Christians, who have the power to forgive even an offense that seems unforgivable. They resemble Jesus Christ in a unique way. One learns something new there every day. This should be the case for any priest, right? Learn from others, because the priest is a sinner like the rest and he has to learn from others. The thing is that in those places where there is persecution, one learns a lot. It's very palpable. What I mentioned before, the example of forgiveness, it's easy to say that I have to forgive. It's easy to forgive if it's something small, but to reach the point where you forgive things that are really serious with such goodwill, with peace and joy, this is something that makes us question ourselves. As I have already said, it causes a sensation of unworthiness. One sees so many, it shocks you. You ask yourself, would I be capable of this? It's very, very striking, you know. The examples of faith, the examples of perseverance, the examples of forgiveness, of mercy, there are many striking and impressive things. It teaches us to step up, not only in our faith as Christians, but in our priesthood too. A priest has to be a victim with Christ, and one learns from them because they are the true victims. So this enriches our life significantly. I like what a young man that visited Iraq the other day said. He said, "I didn't go so much to Iraq to help them, but so that they could help us." I can say without a doubt that we receive more than what we give. We receive an incredible amount. we are the communion of saints. Now, the communion of saints means the good that I do here profits the whole church. Well, the good that they are doing is enormous because they are suffering for Jesus Christ. They have lost everything and they're all being killed. These goods have an impact on us. We are in great debt to them. And what we do is try to return a little, that's all.
Hacemos es tratar de repagar un poquito nada más.